Hello, my name is Jenny Zilaro Andrews, and I'm going to walk you through my Capstone innovation project called Rapid Cycle Point of Service Methodology for EHR Implementation. To begin, healthcare is a system which, like any system, operates to achieve value. In healthcare, value is governed by the triple aim, which is a tripartite mission of better health for populations, better care for individuals, and lower costs through efficiencies. Like in any system, the ability to achieve value is largely dependent on the free flow of information between elements in the system. And so in healthcare, electronic health records, or EHRs, are a vehicle for this type of information flow. There are many benefits associated with EHRs that directly relate to the triple aim. For example, the data collected via EHR support population research, which can positively shift the health trajectories of certain groups of people. EHR functionality like integrated decision support promotes safer care for individuals, and EHRs also facilitate immediate access to information which assists in targeted clinical decision making that results in reductions of unnecessary and costly testing. Yet despite these benefits, there remain significant challenges to full adoption. For example, most people report excess time to implementation, a reduction in productivity at go live, and feel that training inadequately prepared them to use the system in a real training environment, in a real clinical environment. As such, my capstone project addresses these barriers to implementation and proposes a re-envisioned model for EHR implementation that's designed to address the barriers and enhance and expedite the time to full adoption so that the EHR benefits that we mentioned can be realized sooner. The concept of my methodology emerged from my own experience in implementing an EHR. Despite significant financial and time investments, our implementation was wrought with challenges. First, staff were really dissatisfied with the classroom training and felt that it didn't adequately prepare them to use the product in the real clinical environment. That caused significant disruptions in clinical volume, and that, paired with revenue cycle bugs, negatively impacted the institution from a financial perspective. Reflecting on what went wrong and how implementation might have been improved, I was reminded of the old adage, if only we knew then what we know now. What if we had been able to leverage the lessons gleaned through real use of the system, lessons like problematic workflows, missing data, fields, system bugs, etc., before the system was officially in use? What if we brought training to the bedside? This is how my rapid cycle point of service methodology will work. First, we'll break training into task-based modules like triage or vitals. Then, we'll assemble small groups of diverse teams and review some basic system functionality and discuss the learning objectives of each training session. Teams that will then be deployed into the clinical environment where they will observe real clinical interactions and document what they are observing into a test system. We'll then reassemble the group and discuss what went well and what could be improved upon. The group will reach consensus about system modifications, and those modifications will be sent to developers for execution. Once changes have been made, the process will repeat. In this way, users will get real experience with the system in the clinical environment before its actual implementation. They will also have a chance to discover problems or make suggestions about improvements and feed that information back into the system design. The final product should be more closely aligned with users' needs before deployment, which will mitigate the barriers we previously discussed and expedite realization of the benefits cited. If my project were to be a success, the benefits of EHR technology should be demonstrated through improvements in the areas of patient safety, cost of care, and overall health experience. Indeed, the value of our product can be quantified through key performance indicators such as lower medical errors, higher compliance rates with safety functionality, and measurable increases in revenue. We'll also track other indicators of efficiency like volume trends and impact to length of stay, and we'll use qualitative measures to capture perceptions regarding system efficiency, impact on communication, and overall satisfaction. To test the validity of the innovation idea and assess the likelihood for its success, I evaluated it within the context of best available research evidence and through the perspective of professional expertise. From the research evidence, I learned that higher levels of EHR adoption are in fact associated with better performance and process adherence, and that rates of adoption can be influenced through adhering to best practices in implementation. So this evidence validates my idea. I also learned that optimizing EHR technology occurs in an iterative fashion over time, and in fact, one of the articles explicitly suggested designing the technology and workflows to facilitate the use of the technology concurrently. This suggests that there is a high likelihood that my iterative point-of-care methodology will actually be successful. I also took a deeper dive into my own experience. I started by examining the lessons that we learned from pre-implementation site visits. I also aggregated anecdotal feedback that I received through personal communications and referenced surveys and other key performance indicators collected post-implementation to analyze trends. Not surprisingly, the body of evidence consistently reported disruptions associated with the introduction of the technology and linked those disruptions to inadequacies from classroom training. Thus, my approach of moving training from the classroom to the bedside should address these specific findings. Glasser and Salzberg explain that IT investment should enable the organization to reduce costs, improve service, enhance the quality of care, and in general achieve its strategic objectives. As we've already established, EHRs have the ability to do just that when fully adopted and optimally utilized. To this end, my program represents a complementary strategy for managing the potential value of EHRs into existence. There is a really interesting paradox of EHR implementation, and that is that it's often the best practices of implementation, practices like robust training programs and the use of external consultants, that drive initial costs of implementation so high that it makes it difficult for institutions to realize a financial return on their investment. Many prominent institutions have experienced significant financial loss following the implementation of an EHR. Sometimes this loss endures for years. The value proposition of my innovation is that by decreasing the duration of negative impact after go-live and expediting the realization of financial gains associated with EHRs, the aggregate money saved or collected in the period between go-live and when benefits would have been realized using standard deployment methodology will more than pay for an institution's investment in my product. Based on available research in this area, I estimate that my enhanced implementation methodology will result in a faster trajectory for hospitals to realize the benefits that can be quantified as either cost savings or increased revenues. Overall, the return on my investment over the first year of implementation will be 580%, with break-even occurring in month 2. There are external forces which will impact my ability to manage change, and these forces are mostly related to healthcare policy. For example, all components of our process, including system design, training, levels of security, etc., must be executed in accordance with HIPAA guidance. It is important to remember that interpreting federal health IT policies in applying them within a single institution is a major component of any EHR implementation. As such, the success of our program is contingent on our institutions with whom we're working having a formal process in place for identifying the need and establishing the content of internal policies related to the use of EHRs. These policies will address things such as access by role, audit processes, and the use of standardized templates or order sets. There are also internal forces and barriers within which I must navigate in order to shepherd my innovation into existence. To do this, I will apply principles of systems theory, change theory, complexity leadership theory, and innovative intelligence or innovative leadership. Innovative leadership means providing a framework for worker ownership and participation by using process tools and techniques and by leveraging group dynamics and emergence thinking. Core values include valuing diversity, seeking out and leveraging the influence of emergent leaders or those who rise from the crowd via the respect of their peers. It also involves delegating decision-making power to the point of care, which promotes trust and sets an expectation of innovation. In innovative leadership, teams offer a coalescence of different perspectives in order to promote new ideas. Members of these same teams ultimately become agents of sustainability as they embrace the innovative process and continue to apply it in other aspects of the organization. Complexity leadership theory tells us that it's a role of the leader to help the front line do the work that they need to do to address adaptive challenges, or those problems which challenge their fundamental beliefs. Complexity leaders know that the system and the elements of the system have equal influence over each other. And so they use the system itself to create an environment where people can safely transcend old paradigms and accept new ways of thinking. They do this through supporting risk taking, ensuring appropriate resources, inviting the opinions and wisdom of those people who are perceived as naysayers, and by valuing an open culture. Finally, change management theory tells us that transformative change occurs through the amplification of small differences. In this way, we only need to live the change authentically for the change to be sustained. In doing this, we are also imprinting innovative thinking into the very fiber of the organization. In summary, EHRs represent a highly valuable IT investment when deployed in such a way as to maximize benefits and mitigate the common pitfalls. My implementation methodology helps institutions realize the benefits from their EHRs as soon as possible and positions them to translate EHR value into financial gain. To do this, I will help members of organizations at all levels embrace new paradigms related to education, risk, and hierarchy. These paradigm shifts will not only facilitate the successful application of my methodology, but will forever transform the way the institution deals with change. Thank you.